No, they took off for today. So that was Jeff Biggs, the guy you normally follow.
Oh
on
no,
CBS.
I
Special amount of
recognize
money
his
to
voice. That's why I was like, "Whoa, where's the boss?"
Yeah. Well, did you think it was Sunday as well? Like,
No.
Oh, shit. Did I sleep 2 days? 3
No,
days?
trust me. There's no way I'd
Like,
be able to
I don't
sleep
wanna
2
hear about
days
the cap.
anymore.
The salary cap is just
I can't
like
sleep more than
Subway
4 hours
$5
right now.
football. It's just a figment of your imagination. If you need to make it work in the NFL salary cap wise, you can make it work. If you're Subway and you want to lie to everyone for over a decade about the $5 footlong, apparently you can do that without any consequence. The salary cap is a figment of your imagination in the NFL, just as the Subway.
Did you get my text yesterday?
Yeah, I got somebody on.
Yeah, I figured that was a better route to go because you would know ins and outs of who to get for the Sixers. And I said that's a better way to go because, instead of college football.
Weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern.
Coast to coast.
That's kind of a surprise, right?
What's that?
Dr.
Yeah, I
Bruce?
was not.
It's not
I didn't
about
think that
the
was going
money.
to happen.
Everything's
Yeah, I didn't either. I'm just surprised he didn't go to he didn't look at other jobs.
Yeah, me too. I don't know. He watched the finals
put
with
mustard on it, horseradish mustard.
Right.
with the ownership group, and I'm just like that would be enough to drive me away from any job.
What did he see in Philly? Do you know?
It's not that what I think he saw. I think it's what I think he got. I think they realized that they needed to give him as much control as possible.
It's going to be about winning, and it's going to be about competition.
I don't know,
Facts are
man.
facts, Mitch Trubisky was not.
Doc
playing
comes
well
in here
enough
and says
to
there needs to
deserve
be
being the
change.
starting
Are they going to
quarterback of
move
the
on
Chicago
from
Bears
guys?
at the point in time when the move was made? And also, look at the numbers; they aren't.
I think so. I mean, to his credit, I mean, he does know how to coach and knows how to put together a team.
Right.
The tempo of the game,
Maybe that's all you guys need.
flow for the Chicago Bears, honestly, on both sides of the football. Once Nick Foles took over as quarterback midway through
Maybe.
the third quarter, it was
You're right. It's
clear
not.
that they needed to do something. And Matt Nagy took a huge step yesterday, making a franchise-altering decision that also happened to be the one that helped you win the game on the football field.
Sports Map All Night with Bill Schmidt.
Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Are you thinking that it's time to start looking for a new car?
I don't know.
Then go to automotivemap.com to see the latest auto news, find out about what's ahead for your favorite brands, and learn how much that new car will cost you. Automotivemap.com is your place to see reviews, check out the hottest exotic cars, read tales from the road, and get acquainted with the luxury
45%
automotive
drop.
lifestyle.
You see that
Into
from
hot
game
mods?
one?
Want to see the cars celebrities drive? Love a good restoration job? From off-roading to on-roading, automotivemap.com has it covered. Visit automotivemap.com today.
Wake up call!
Starting with the Arizona Cardinals hosting the Washington Redskins. Oh, come on, Dwayne Haskins, Kyle Murray. Come on.
You were wrong there.
Why?
The Washington football team.
Did I say Redskins?
You did.
I should find myself $1 every time I do it this season.
That's $1 in the old
so I'm
R
going to
jar.
put that in the R jar at the house, and at the end of the season, how much I have.
Probably would pay for your fantasy football league.
You're
fees.
probably right, because I'm not going to win this year. Because my number one pick, Michael Thomas, has an ankle injury that's probably going to plague him all year.
Probably.
Remember when we talked about Kevin Durant in basketball? We were like, when is he coming back from that? It's going to be like that. Michael Thomas is just going to be out every game, but every week you're going to be like, he could come back.
All right.
He's looking better. And then Sunday, he's not playing. It'll be like that for 9 straight weeks. All right, so $1 is in the R jar because I mentioned Redskins.
Wake up call with Tony B and Ron Colbert.
I guess I should put a
Weekday
tweet
mornings
up.
from 7 to 9 Eastern.
Gotta make sure this Twitch thing is fixed too.
Monday Night Football was the best.
What
How much did
a
you look forward
pain.
to it?
When I was a kid, it was on at 9 o'clock. I had to be in bed by 9.
It was on at 6.
Here we go
That
again.
Day of the
Gotta
week was always a
edit
really
this thing
early dinner
every
for
single
us.
I gotta
time.
go home early because
Such a
football
disgrace.
starts. I'll be eating it with my TV tray in the living room. Meanwhile, I'm a kid in New
Once
Hampshire.
again,
my
we
mother's
have to
telling me to
edit
go
it.
to sleep. The Steelers
Not
are playing.
talk
And it's
show
9 o'clock, and I gotta go to
podcast,
bed.
Wake up call with
Oh,
Tony
this is
B
such
and
a
Ron Colbert. Weekday mornings
Twitch
from
is
7
just-
to 9 Eastern.
One of the big changes we're all dealing with is wearing a
Awful.
mask, but not all offer the same comfort and protection.
Awful.
I recommend the Boomer Naturals 3-layer comfortable breathable mask enhanced with nano silver technology. Nano silver can block those tiny drops and particles from getting to your nose and mouth. They also offer nano silver neck gaiters, available in sizes for adults and children, and are in stock now and shipped to you fast. Order now at boomernaturals.com. Use the promo code Tony and save 20%. That's code Tony at boomernaturals.com.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance
subscribe.
can give you that financial boost you're looking for.
That's what that
Call
is,
today
the
at
banner
8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
This is a Gow Media property in partnership with Jacob Media.
Got it. I got it now.
Volume control for slightly above the normal listening level. Let's go.
Second level thinking is defined as looking beyond the easy, obvious conclusions.
You got to do some smart thinking.
Welcome to the second level on the Sports Map Radio Network, a show where we go beyond the box score.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
Well, this is interesting. I see this come across the bow here, and I don't understand how this would be unless, of course, Bill Belichick has waved some sort of Jedi mind trick over the Atlanta Falcons. But a couple of different people, one with a blue check, another without, have put out a wild rumor where the Patriots and Falcons are engaged in serious conversations in regards to a trade involving Julio Jones. And then you get everything going on about, nope, actually that's false. Blue check steps in and says, nope, that's not the case. I don't know how this stuff catches fire. I don't know how all of a sudden we are just so bored. And that's what we sat through last night. That first half of football was a disgrace. And the NFL has set it up right now where no matter how bad you are, the Broncos on their third quarterback and Sam Darnold, who had that one big scamper, and then you just saw, until the second half, of course, futile efforts. Yet the NFL found a way to even itself out. It really did. It's insane. I've never seen anything like this. The NBA doesn't work that way. There are runs every now and again, but if you're up 28, 30 points, good luck. Not everybody's the Denver Nuggets. It's tough. Even when you have poor performances and low-scoring games, the NFL has found a way to even itself out. I mean, think about it. On one end, you had all of those penalties, brutal penalties that were just awful. Personal fouls, nobody out there was disciplined for the Jets defense. And I guess we shouldn't be shocked because Greg Williams, of all people, is coaching that team on defense. But they looked awful on offense, on defense as well. And then the Broncos weren't much better. They were just getting these penalties. That's how they moved the football down the field. That was the best way they could move the football down the field. Second half, it evened itself out. I'll give them the credit there.
Fall is a season that's a little in the middle. It's sort of the best of two seasons. It's no longer a sweaty summer, but the winter chill is still around the corner. And that's the perfect time to feed and seed your lawn with Scott's Turf Builder. Even better than spring, because the soil is still warm, but the air is getting cool. So your lawn gets the most nutrients in the best combination of temperatures. Feed and seed now with Scott's Turf Builder and build the best lawn for every season. Scott's, it's good out here.
I worry about lots of things. My finances, my grandkids.
If you're 65 or older, you have enough things to worry about. Pneumococcal pneumonia shouldn't be one of them. Even healthy adults 65 and older are at increased risk for this potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. Help protect yourself with the Prevnar 13.
Yeah, $36 million. Is that a lot for a mansion?
Diphtheria CRM 197 Pro.
Doesn't sound like it.
Is approved
right?
for adults to help prevent infections from 13 strains of the bacteria that cause
Hold on
pneumococcal
one second.
pneumonia. Prevnar 13 does not protect against all strains of the disease. Don't get Prevnar 13 if you have had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with a weakened immune system may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site.
Doesn't sound like a lot at all.
Side effects and full prescribing information, please call
Or is it that it's not a lot because of the person who bought it in LeBron?
Or visit Prevnar13.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about.
Like, clearly it's a lot for you and I, but I mean,
I'm Andy.
just in
If
general.
you don't know me, it's probably because I'm
If you were
not
to tell me
famous.
that a
But I did
soap
start a
opera
men's grooming
legend was
company
selling
called
their home
Harry's.
is
The idea
36
for
million a
Harry's
lot?
came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, over-designed, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 5560 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 5560. Enjoy.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. And MLS number 3030.
At the SportsMap Radio Network, we wear Boomer Naturals masks. Order now at boomernaturals.com. Use promo code SportsMap Radio for 20% off. Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
Two things in the NBA we'll hit on this hour, and one of them has to do with the Philadelphia 76ers making a pretty big splash 3 days following the... Is that right? Doc Rivers was fired 4 days ago? Man, 2020 is just... It is such a bizarre year. Where, right?
That's not normal for you? You're not one to get fired one day and then before the week
No.
I have another high-paying job already waiting for you.
That alone is an anomaly. I understand is just separate for things like this. You know, like a high-powered CEO or an NBA coach with the championship. You know, things like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm not even surprised the most about. I'm surprised the most about today is that he was fired earlier this week. Like again, things either take forever this year, or it's like, what happened to the past 2 weeks? It's never anything in between. It's either, man, when is this month going to end, or what just happened to this month?
I mean, do you realize that after tonight's game between the Padres and Cardinals, the first round of the Major League Baseball playoffs is over?
Yeah, and see, that's the other end of it. I feel like this thing's been going on forever.
Do you?
Even though they've only been playing 2 games. Yeah, because I've been paying attention to it, unlike you.
Well, no, I mean the 60 games went by like I didn't even realize it was
They
the
did
final
go
day of
fast.
the season.
I know they did go really fast. No, the playoffs. It's not that I've been laboring through anything. It's just that they've
I've
been.
paying attention. I've been watching my Dodgers just wipe everyone clean.
You're not even paying attention to your Slam Diego Padres. Shame on you.
I was
Turned your
watching them
back
last
on 'em.
night. No, I'm just saying that the first round is going to be done tonight.
Well, that's good though. I mean, the Padres will win. They'll win that first round. Me too. I'm rooting for them too. I'm rooting for Miami too. Not anything wrong with the Cubs. I'm not anti-Chicago. There's a pretty cool Chicago-related story.
You can't root for the Marlins.
I'm not rooting for the Marlins in the sense of if they lose, I'll be
COVID
upset.
Protocol breakers.
I'll just what's wrong with Miami? Miami, you know, they're a terrible organization. They don't have any fans anyway. Derek Jeter's down there trying to revive things. The Philadelphia Phillies are trash. I'm not going to hold any interdivisional rivalry. You know, that's really the new rivalry, or at least before the season, was who's the race to stay out of the basement. But I'm not rooting for the Cubs. Why would you root for the Cubs? The Cubs, to me, are a sign of elitism in baseball.
No, I didn't want to root for the Cubs either.
All right, so there we go. The Yankees are the highest of it, but they're moving into that echelon. Now, I'll say this. We'll talk to my buddy John Marks here, his highest rated show afternoon drive show in Philadelphia and pulse of the city when it comes to everything, especially as I know these guys have been talking about Doc nonstop for the past couple of days. But
so bizarre
that Doc Rivers is hired here.
Well,
the Sixers are so desperate, and Mike D'Antoni. Let's think of this: if your only other option is Mike D'Antoni for a team that's not built anywhere near what Mike D'Antoni wants to do, then wouldn't you put the full court press on the other guy, especially if the other guy's more qualified?
Yeah. I think
I'm shocked Doc took the job.
I think he's a perfect fit, but what I'm shocked about is that Doc didn't bother going down to Houston or New Orleans.
New Orleans, yeah.
Just to talk to him. I thought New Orleans would be a great place. I thought Houston would be a great place for him. I mean, you got established stars already in Houston. With New Orleans, you got a great young team built around a person who, we've kind of anointed as the next big guy in the NBA.
In Zion, yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't know what happened. I don't know if
just the fact that he didn't interview anywhere.
It makes no sense. He didn't even have an in-person interview down in New Orleans, and it was almost like he's dead set. I think two things, and this is just how I'm looking at it from the inside out, is the Philadelphia 76ers were so desperate to make a major splash with their head coach to help smooth over how bad it was overall. Now, to be fair to Brett Brown, nobody else has even been fired. Nobody else. They haven't moved on from anybody but Brett Brown. So that what they're trying to do is bring in Doc Rivers to make it seem like that was the only problem. And it doesn't even make a lot of sense really at all, because if you have fundamental problems in your ownership or your front office, that's going to poke through unless you make Doc Rivers your general manager de facto and kind of have Elton Brand just there. But that's what is so mind-boggling to me and so difficult for me to wrap my head around, which is if you look at Houston and New Orleans, you could argue that he would get more control over what's going on with that roster. Now, he's not going to be able to come in there and move on from James Harden, but he's definitely going to be able to create a vision of how to continue to build around Zion. The Sixers are kind of like straddling this line of they're young, still a young team like New Orleans is, but they're also old enough to kind of be set in some ways like the Rockets are. So Doc comes in, and I don't know if the expectation is he's going to be the young, growing star whisperer, but he's going to need to do a lot more than just connect with Joel Embiid or connect with Ben Simmons. The team itself was not really well prepared and well equipped. So if you look at the prepare stuff and you say, well, now we've got a head coach that can prepare better. We have a head coach that has a better command of the game than the previous guy, which is an obvious, honest assessment here. What do you do about the roster creation? And that's where, and the construction, right? That's where I think Doc Rivers, what surprised me is that Doc took this job, especially so fast, unless, and again, this is the second part of it, unless Doc convinced the ownership group where he was watching game one of the NBA Finals, and we'll get to that in a second. Apparently, it broke an all-time low for ratings. But that alone must have been a moment in which he was able to convince people that matter, hey, give me more power than just being a head coach. I can't imagine Doc Rivers is coming into this situation with zero control or like 50-50 control over a move like, hey, let's trade Tobias Harris tomorrow, or we should have moved on from Al Horford yesterday. Stuff like this. Like, I can't imagine that. Now, again, the bigger issue is, and this is what I've been saying for a year and a half now, what happens not if, but when Doc Rivers spends a year on the bench and realizes probably sooner than later, because he's a smart guy, this thing isn't going to work. This Ben and Joe thing, it's not going to work. It hasn't worked for a reason, not so much everybody around them, but just because those two players together don't necessarily work. They don't fit as well as people thought or expected. Doesn't mean that either one of them aren't all-star type players. Both are. Joel Embiid is a monster, and Ben Simmons is a really special, unique, but special player outside of not shooting. And that doesn't mean that those two kids can't be successful in their own right, and they are successful in their own right. But you need to have some sort of cohesive, gelled unit, and that's what we saw, of all people, Jimmy Butler slide into down in Miami. Now, that team is decimated by injury. Doubtful Bam, doubtful Goran. Jimmy's playing through an ankle injury tonight, so good luck. And I will say, and we'll talk to Johnny Marks coming up in 20 minutes here in Philadelphia to get his thoughts about what's happened with the city. He's on the pulse of it every day. But I will say that one thing you can find is looking at why the NBA right now, the ratings dipped significantly, down 45% from last year. Last year had the Toronto Raptors, arguably one of the most boring teams to ever hit the NBA Finals. The Toronto Raptors and a Golden State Warriors team that was down multiple stars due to injury. Think about this. Now, I'm not going to attribute it. I have one theory why, and I think people are fatigued, and they're fatigued with LeBron, but it's not LeBron's fault. And I'll explain that in a second, but let me give you the numbers here. Only 7.41 million people tuned in to watch the LA Lakers take on the Miami Heat. This is from the Hollywood Reporter. That number represents a 45% drop from last year's Game 1 viewership. And that's Warriors and Raptors. 45% drop from a Warriors team that was banged up and a Raptors team that, let's be honest, was led by Kawhi Leonard and a bunch of other guys you probably never even heard of. Or you probably weren't even paying attention as much because you knew, well, how much time do I need to spend paying attention to Toronto? They're going to get knocked out early anyway. Whoa. All of a sudden they get Kawhi Leonard. They're making a run. Maybe I should pay attention. 45% drop from that game one. Are you kidding me? Now, I can tell you for me what was a major deterrent. And we're not talking about last night. This is Wednesday night. We'll talk about last night's game. Trust me, there was, shame on anybody who continues to publicly support this team. The New York Jets are an absolute embarrassment to the NFL. They are worse than the Giants because they don't even care. They're going out there trying to hurt people. You have a contact sport. You need to have some sort of protocol in place so people don't get hurt, especially off cheap shots. Jets, with their defensive bounty bowl coordinator and their offensive coordinator-minded head coach, had no idea what they were doing, and they were getting their own players and other players. They were putting them in serious injury-type positions, not to mention the turf, and you even saw Raheem Mostert tweet out during the game. That's its own conversation. But I can tell you exactly why I've been fatigued leading up to the NBA Finals. And I'm still going to watch. I'm still going to dip in and out. But it wasn't must-watch television for me, and I didn't want to tune in ahead of time because I knew that it was going to come up, and I saw it all week come up. So even if it's unfair to the pregame show because they didn't bring it up, the other shows on the broadcast network were talking about it incessantly, and that's the LeBron versus Michael thing. I saw somebody tweet out a clip from one of those god-awful morning shows about LeBron James versus Michael Jordan. It was like Monday or Tuesday morning, maybe. No later than that. And I'm thinking, all right, I'm out. Like, I cannot have this conversation again. I refuse to go down these roads again. And I'll be honest with you, I knew it was coming. We all knew it was coming because LeBron is now synonymous with this. It's unfair to LeBron. But to be honest, for the first time in LeBron's career, I'm not rushing to the television to get down there ahead of time, sit down with the popcorn or whatever else your treat of choice is. Dark chocolate almonds usually is my popcorn, but I pop them too much. It's because I don't want to sit and listen to that. I can't sit on social media when people are even responding to all that. And that stuff goes viral, or at least quasi-viral. It's a major deterrent for me. And I don't know if I speak for everybody, if I just speak for me, but I can tell you that it's not messages to create awareness for social justice. It's not some message that's on a jersey or T-shirt. It has nothing to do with that. It's not a reporter talking about a story in our society and how it connects to an NBA player. Not that at all. The only thing, and it's a major one for me. And again, I opened this up at Shander Show. You heard Ron Culver at Ron Culver 2Ns, both on Twitter, twitch.tv/Shander Show, and 800-224-2004. 45% drop from last year's game one. This should not be the case with one of the most popular players on the planet. Could be Orlando. Look, you might not like all of the messages and platforms that are being used. That might be your reason why. I question how much you're really watching the NBA in the first place. But for me, that was the number one reason, and really the only reason, the sole reason why I missed it. I missed the start. I missed the first quarter. I got in late. I watched more of it, and then that was kind of it. No issues with the broadcast as far as, oh my goodness, I can't believe that he had Black Lives Matter on his T-shirt. Nothing like that. Just knowing that the accompanying social media conversation and all of the other nonsense and loud noise that comes with these games, especially in the finals with LeBron, is LeBron versus Mike, Mike versus LeBron, MJ versus LBJ. Ugh, enough. Thursday night football. Been telling you for a little bit about what the NBA has been trying to do, and I got to give them credit. That next on the second level.
The second level.
German lower league side SG Ripdorf Molzen 2 suffered a 37-0. Yeah, great. Now, what do you have? The list of all the stuff I got right?
Only fielding 7 players.
Let's go through that too.
Maintain social distancing against their opponents as they feared contracting the coronavirus.
Do 20 radio shows a week. I'll be glad to sit through all of them and go through all the stuff I got right.
Is that just by lotto? How do you determine that? They threw 7 guys out there on the pitch, and they got pounded into the ground 37-0. The Clippers didn't even.
Someone yelling at you?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just not?
Because it's not a good decision. Like, it's not a good decision for Doc Rivers to take this job unless he has full control over the roster. And that's so contrary to everything that the Sixers have been doing, to the point in which it's like, well, why is Elton Brand even in the front office at this point? You don't need him. You can make Doc the coach and president of basketball operations and everything. So that scenario was so foreign to my brain that I'm thinking, well, I was giving Doc Rivers too much credit when I said Doc isn't going to be the next coach here. It wasn't anything about I knew the Sixers wanted him, but I couldn't believe that Doc Rivers would be foolish enough to take this job.
Farrell Coast to Coast with Scott Farrell. Weekday 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
Wake up call. Derek Carr.
Derek Carr, yeah. Gruden's kind of ticked off at him.
Yeah. Derek Carr last Sunday decided to call an audible.
Good place that I could host.
I could see him going, Derek, now you got to pick other names besides my wife. I got to be honest with you. She's not a huge fan of being on it. And I'm not really either, but it'd be better if you just didn't mention her name. But what if Derek Carr was the ultimate compliment?
Where's a good place I can go?
A hot route and your wife is hot.
Would you want Derek Carr, what do you mean?
I don't know. You know what? I asked that question before I.
Not only that, but in the same context of Tiger Woods. Okay, you called a hot route. What's Tiger Woods mean?
True. Good point. That combination doesn't work. No. If I was Gruden, I wouldn't mind mentioning the wife, but not in the same sentence as Tiger Woods.
Wake up call with Tony B and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to
I don't
9
know.
Eastern.
Imagine learning about radio.
You know?
Being mentored by true radio professionals in real radio stations.
I was going to ask, where can I go to
you don't have to imagine,
go
because
online
there's Radio Connection
and
Radio
post
Connection gives you
videos
the opportunity to
that
learn
aren't
one-on-one and be mentored
like
by
YouTube
radio
might
pros.
take it down,
Plus, you
right?
don't
Because
have to
there
worry
could be
about
like a
getting into
highlight or
crazy
something in
amount
there.
of debt with school
Actually, I don't think it
tuition either.
would.
Pornhub?
Their tuition
And
at
upload it
much
or
lower
OnlyFans.
cost.
I could
To
create
find
an
out more
OnlyFans, right? Is there copyright on OnlyFans?
I have no idea.
I think we need to raise that, don't you?
You're listening to The Second Level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores, here's Eitan Shander.
just having this conversation in the break with Ron Culver, and I am curious because I have video that I would like to share. You know, I'm just starting out, and I barely even have a toe in the door for television. It's local stuff here, and it's great. And I'm doing this weekly show. It's sports betting stuff and local appearances, you know, the morning show. It's all for the Fox affiliate here. And I wanted to post something so I could send links, right? If it's to an agent or if it's to somebody who may know an agent or if it's a family member who may know an agent, whatever it may be. And I know that YouTube, as we're on right now, YouTube, it's so strict and they constantly bump our videos. That's why a lot of times you might be hearing some original music that you don't even know, but it's kind of flowing with what's current in the sense of we'll get popped. YouTube will ban our videos as a result of that. So I didn't even want to. I'm sorry.
OnlyFans.
Well, that's what I'm saying is
that's your alternative now.
yes, but what is the copyright situation for OnlyFans? Are there people monitoring the videos?
I don't know about that. but
Coming
what
in
I
with
love-
like nailing you on copyrights?
What I love is your idea of, hey, you're wanting to create, like, you have little vignettes that you want to send out to gain more business. What better way than to have them pay you to see your content?
Yeah, I don't think you. I think you're
That's-
giving
how
industry
you work.
people way too much credit.
That's how it works, Eitan.
Yeah, you think so?
Have them pay you before they can actually pay you.
I don't know, man. I don't think I'll get any callbacks at that point. Somebody's going to be like, "What? I have to open this thing up? Get out of here," and they'll just move on.
No, because now that you're giving what you're giving is you're giving these guys an excuse to have an OnlyFans account.
Only if people are paying me. Otherwise, it's just like a YouTube account with nobody monitoring it. I'll still need somebody out there paying me. If I don't have anybody paying me, then what's the point?
You think you would do well with an OnlyFans account?
No. OnlyFans is for people to want to see, your body and you doing stuff with your body. Now, again, I think I could. No, wait a second. Hold on. Do you think that if it was non-sexual, that I could just stream like what I'm doing here, like you and I and anybody else who's doing this show? Like, could you do a video stream on your OnlyFans account that's non-adult related? Like, could I do a sports talk show on OnlyFans?
I don't know if you could stream live. You could definitely probably stream the video, but I don't think that would gain any viewers.
No, right?
Unfortunately.
That's fine. That's
You can
totally
have
okay.
Great sports content, great sports takes. You're still, no one is going to OnlyFans for clean fun.
Correct.
I think that's the problem. I mean, now if you were to do it like you see these topless news around the world where they start doing the news and the girls, she's in front of the thing, in front of the green screen and she's talking and then just, all of a sudden she just takes off her shirt.
Yes.
Like they do that like over in Russia or
I'm not.
The Czech Republic or whatever.
Nobody's going to pay me to do that.
Well, no, but I'm saying if that's the route you go, I mean, you could probably gain a few housewife votes. Why not?
I don't know, man. Tough.
They got money to burn.
Yeah, I have to also clear this with the wife too. I mean,
I guess.
Yeah, I think you've been married a lot longer than me. You say, I guess. You know exactly I'd have to clear this with my wife.
Exactly. I've been married a lot longer. You're still in that phase where you could probably get away with something like that. For me, nah, not a chance. Actually, I'm on the end of it now. She'd be like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, seriously. Right. I think at that point, you almost flip over the calendar and you start over. I'm just I'm just curious. But I wonder, like, what would happen? Let's just say, even if, there are people that have free OnlyFans accounts, right, where you can just subscribe for free, and that's fine. But I wonder what would happen if you looked at, now, seriously, if you were a programmer or if you were an agent or if you were running a television station and you got an email and it said, well, here's a link to all my work. And it said onlyfans.com/Culver. Are you even clicking on that as a programmer?
Yeah, no, that's
Think about that, right?
That's very true. Very true.
I'm just curious. I wonder if that would be a major deterrent.
You couldn't figure out GoDaddy. You had to go to OnlyFans.
Right. Exactly right. Like, how does
that? Yeah, that might. If we're looking for talent somewhere, that could be a red flag. As you see that link, and you're probably sitting there going, "Oh, I don't know if this is the content we're looking for." It's an easy out.
it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's easy to just dismiss someone's like, that's not the without ever having watched it. That's not the content we're looking for. The guy would be like, no, it's great stuff.
Yeah. Hold on a second. It really is. Hold on.
Don't need to see it.
See, that would hurt you, I think, more than anything. Hurt me more than anything. If I'm trying to send people a link of what I'm doing on television, then I want them to at least open it up and then tell me your ugly mug doesn't deserve to be anywhere near my cameras. I don't want to be written off before they even get it.
Yeah, because you know who's the only person clicking on it? Your mom.
No, she's not going to click on that.
She'll click on it just to support you.
Well, she listens every now and again, but I think she now is just too busy. So
No, but
I lost that.
I think she would do it. I think she would click on it. If you said, "Mom, this is important. I need you to click on my OnlyFans account." She probably won't know what OnlyFans is and click on it.
No, she does. She works with kids.
So she knows what OnlyFans is?
Yeah.
God, then she would have major disappointment in you.
Well, she already does. So take
All
a
right.
number, man.
There we have it. OnlyFans.com. It is for you.
We'll talk about Doc Rivers next. Thursday night football. Don't worry, that's not going away. We'll try and sneak that in as well. Second level.
Jay Farner here.
Let me
CEO
get
of
you
Rocket
John's
Mortgage.
number. That's
Making
hilarious.
the right financial decisions has never been more important.
Hilarious.
When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows,
Why do I
so
have a
now is a great time to call
picture of him?
8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents. And Doug.
Fasten your seatbelts, folks. We'll be prepared for takeoff.
Limu, how cool is this? Your first time flying. Oh, I didn't mean... Listen, Limu, you might not be able to fly, but you do something even cooler. You tell strangers that Liberty Mutual customizes their car insurance, so they only pay for what they need.
Sir, do you have a certificate for your service bird?
Liberty, 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 liberty. Get a customized quote at libertymutual.com.
This is time that matters, a window of time to help protect the ones you love. Your preteen benefits from staying up to date with their well visits. This is your window of protection. Schedule their well visit now. Brought to you by Merck.
Every 2 minutes, a woman in the U.S. is diagnosed with breast cancer. And in that moment in time, her life changes forever. We're fighting alongside patients because we know one moment can change a lifetime.
Fall is a season that's a little in the middle. It's sort of the best of two seasons. It's no longer a sweaty summer, but the winter chill is still around the corner. And that's the perfect time to feed and seed your lawn with Scott's Turf Builder. Even better than spring, because the soil is still warm, but the air is getting cool. So your lawn gets the most nutrients in the best combination of temperatures. Feed and seed now with Scott's Turf Builder and build the best lawn for every season. Scott's, it's good out here.
Now there's a natural way to take charge of your blood pressure. Introducing new Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood pressure levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals. And it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood pressure with new Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Fall is officially here, and that means pumpkin spice everything, cozy fall fashion, and Macy's VIP sale going on now. Use your coupon or Macy's card and take an extra 30% off our best fashion.
Went straight to voicemail.
Calvin Klein and Tommy
Okay.
Hilfiger, and the biggest trends of the season. Hello Plaid, chunky jewelry, and head-to-toe denim. Plus, it's 15% off your favorite beauty brands. And Star Rewards members earn on every purchase except gift cards, services, and fees. Now through Tuesday at Macy's.
Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
All right, I texted him.
O'Reilly Auto
He's
Parts
texting back.
Studios.
Try again.
Eitan Shander.
He's good. Well, we'll get John Marks on the horn here in a second. Until then, great opportunity right now to remind you about the number one mask. It's not just for us. It's for you. It's for everyone. It available, of course, at Boomer Naturals. And what I love and what we all have been telling you about Boomer Naturals is the quality of this mask mixed with how comfortable they are. And we know that not every face mask is out there offering the same protection. So when we recommend Boomer Naturals, it's the 3-layer comfortable, breathable mask. It's available in sizes for everyone, adults, teens, children. Many cool patterns and colors to choose from. That's the beauty of it. Boomer Naturals offers 3 layers of cotton polyester cloth enhanced with nano silver technology. And that nano silver can block tiny drops and particles from getting to your nose and mouth. Stop by your local CVS pharmacy today. Ask for Boomer Naturals nano silver masks and gaiters. All right. Doc Rivers is the next head coach for the Philadelphia 76ers. And as promised, we'll go out to the Progressive guest line and bring in a man who has the pulse of the city of Philadelphia. That's how you've been billed here, John. John Marks, at John Marks Media on Twitter, host of the Marks and Reese Show on 94 WIP in Philly, 2 to 6 p.m. Eastern, number 1 rated afternoon drive show in Philadelphia. How are you, sir?
The city actually has no pulse when it comes to sports, but Doc Rivers helps. Eitan certainly helps.
Are we really dead? Have I been misrepresenting this city on a national level, sir, which is that we don't even have a pulse anymore? The Eagles have left us dead?
Well, I mean, the city kind of comes and goes with the Eagles, right? So Doc Rivers yesterday, when it kind of expected it, and then Woj dropped the Woj bomb at about 5:40 Eastern time. So we got 20 minutes of our show to kind of celebrate it. But, yeah, I mean, kind of living and dying by the Eagles' 0-2-1 start. The Phillies missed out on the playoffs. They had to win 2 games in their final 8 to make the playoffs. They couldn't even do that. They got swept by the Rays. So we're licking our wounds here in Philly. But to your point, Eitan, Doc's a great addition for the Sixers, and a lot of people will debate, well, look how many series he lost when he was up 3-1. Like, listen, we're not even worried about that here in Philly. We're worried about trying to figure out our young guys, and we think Doc can do that.
Well, here's where I'm surprised, John, is not that the Sixers were aggressive and actively courting and doing everything they could to sign him. That was the obvious, right? Which is they're going to go after the biggest name they can. I'm surprised Doc took this job in such a short period of time without, or at least without knowing how much true control he has over this roster.
Well, it seems like at least what came out yesterday was he's not going to be president of basketball ops or anything like that. Here's what I think happened, because he could have very easily just said, hey, I'm going to take the $10 million a year that I'm owed from the Clippers, and I'm going to sit out a year, and I'm going to see what job pops up, and maybe I can get like a really, really good job. But for whatever reason, I think Doc likes the challenge, and he looks at the talent of Joel Embiid, and he says, wow, like, what can I do with that? As a coach, how can I unlock that? And he looks at Ben Simmons, and he says, wow, like, you have a real chance to be a great, great player in this league. And, I think he sees what everybody sees. He sees the talent. Now, some people will look at the Sixers job and say, well, hell no, I don't want to deal with those 2 knuckleheads. That's kind of what we feel like in Philly. But he clearly thought that it was a challenge, and he had something to work with 2 very good players. I mean, what would I have done, Eitan? What would you have done? I would have sat home and cashed the $10 million and then maybe looked for a better spot. Doc wanted it.
Well, what about New Orleans? And I know I'm asking you to be objective about a team that you live in the city and root for your entire life, but would New Orleans not be more appealing if, in fact, you could get the control that we don't even know if he has here in Philly?
Well, you look at that roster, and we kind of during the season we're looking at Brandon Ingram, and we're being like, wow, he was the number 2 pick in the same draft that Ben Simmons came out, and it's like, wow, like that's kind of the player that you're looking for in the NBA in 2020. Ben Simmons doesn't even shoot 15 footers, and you're seeing what Brandon Ingram can do. I kind of look at it and I say that Doc obviously wanted to coach again. He didn't want to take a year off. And I don't know why he looks at the Pelicans and says, no, I don't want to do that. I mean, it's really interesting because when the name came out of Doc Rivers, I think that the initial reaction was, why the hell would he want to coach the Sixers and why would he want to do it right away? For whatever reason, he did. And the Pelicans, I would have thought was an attractive job. He wanted to come to the Sixers. That's the only thing I really make of it.
All right, so walk me through a hypothetical, and I'm curious how much heat and expectation do you think is realistic, and not just as far as conversation, but for people you interact with, which are listeners and tweeters and people that make up the city of Philadelphia, how much true heat is going to be on Doc Rivers to do something, to change something year one? Because normally you come into a job year one, it's like, all right, man, get your feet wet, do what you need to do. But there's so much pressure on this coach and this specific coach, John, to step in and redirect all of the bad directions that this team was going in, especially the 2 young stars.
So I think the pressure is actually on the players to start and less on Doc Rivers. Now, once the season starts and you get some expectations, they start winning games. Things change a little bit, but I think that kind of the feeling I had when you got the idea that Doc was interested and this could happen was, at the very least, you have a set of eyes, a guy that you respect, a world champion, a former player, a former all-star, that if he decides after a year, you know what, I don't know if Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons can work. Because, Eitan,
yes, what? That's perfect. What happens? What's he going to do? Is he going to go to Elton Brand and say you have to trade one of the 2?
I feel better because if Doc Rivers, by the way, I would trade Joel Embiid now. You worry about losing the talent, but you worry about if this guy's ever going to get it. And I don't believe that these 2 guys can coexist because Ben is Ben is not a guard. He won't shoot.
Right.
So if you think that you're going to get both of these guys and both of these egos to coexist on the same roster, I don't buy it. The problem is I don't know how much you get for Joel Embiid. Who wants, as talented as he is, who wants a 7'2" back to the basket center? He does shoot threes. His fitness level isn't there. He's erratic with his behavior and kind of his personality. A team would want him. You're not getting a star franchise player in return for Joel Embiid. So as far as Doc Rivers, it makes me feel better that I have another set of eyes that I trust, probably more than Elton Brand. If he doesn't think this can work after a year, he can say, listen, I think we should look. I think we should look to move one of these guys, and maybe Joel Embiid, maybe it's Ben Simmons. I don't know.
Man, that would be something else. If Doc Rivers comes in and after a year gets this team to do what you and I and a lot of people have been watching this team, and it's no knock individually on those 2 players. It's just as you laid out, I brought this up at the start of the show as well. They're 2 good individual talents, but the fit just isn't quite what is expected. If Doc could come in and get this front office to move on from one, that would be insane. But let's look at what's more realistic right now, and that what would you do if you're Doc Rivers as far as your first big move with this team? And I know that trading Al Horford is probably an obvious answer, John, but you would have to probably sacrifice a little more to get rid of Al Horford if that means put a good contract or even a good young player next to him.
I just don't. I don't know what you get, right? And believe me, I agree with you that if you could trade Al Horford and maybe have to add something to get rid of the salary. But the reality is, who's a good young player that the 76ers have, like a Shake Milton, who's kind of a rotational guy? Or, I don't really know. I don't know what the Sixers have. I mean, honestly, where they are as far as their salary and the salary cap and luxury tax, the only wiggle room they have is to add a mid-level player, about $4 million. But that mid-level player would actually cost $20 million because of where the Sixers are in luxury tax. So they can't even really sign a guy because he would cost $20 million unless the Sixers ownership wants to front the bill for a $20 million player that's really a $4 million player. So I don't know what wiggle room you have. Honestly, I would say year one, Harris, he's making $8 million a year. He was great with Doc in LA before he got traded to the Sixers. Figure out what you have. If you can move, let's call him Elton Brand. If you can move Al Horford, fine. But I don't want worse contracts in return. And I don't necessarily, if you have young assets, I don't want to give that up either.
I'm going to sneak two in here, John, and we'll move away from the Sixers because I know Doc Rivers is the main story. And then we start talking about things that are just going to make us anxious and angry, such as the Philadelphia Eagles. So 7 points, there's just no way they cover this line, right?
Well, it seems too easy to take the 49ers, right? The Eagles have one healthy wide receiver on their roster right now. One healthy wide receiver. And his name's Greg Ward. He was a college quarterback, and he was on the practice squad last year.
Right.
Otherwise, they have some practice squad guys, and they have a rookie that was just activated off the injured reserve list. And maybe Deshaun Jackson can play. But even before all this, they had problems moving the football. I don't know how they would score points. Now, the other side of it with the 49ers is their offensive line's not very good. They're banged up, and the Eagles is the defensive line. They had 8 sacks last week against the Bengals. So if they can get a young quarterback, they can get to him, create some turnovers. The Eagles defense hasn't created a turnover this year.
It's amazing.
Not an interception, not a fumble.
It's amazing.
The one turnover they got was on a punt,
Right.
a punt fumble by
Right.
Cooper Kupp. So, I mean, I'm not going to tell you they're going to win, but that's how it would be. That's how they would cover or win the game.
All right, I don't know if you saw this news, but Rick Moranis was assaulted yesterday just before 7:30 in the morning in Central Park West. Looks like he's doing okay, but he was punched in the head as a victim of a random attack. What are your top 3 Rick Moranis movies?
Oh, boy. Well, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. What is I'm blanking here, Eitan.
Wait, this is something that's right up your alley.
Ghostbusters 1 and 2?
Yeah, you would have to put. Well, hold on a second. That's an interesting theory right there. We may have to discuss this further when you get off. So give us your thoughts on this one. Is he as much of a power player in that movie for it to be called a Rick Moranis movie?
Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Well, considering, you really do have some heavy hitters.
Right.
That are also a part of that movie.
Right.
But especially in the original, his character kind of makes the movie too, right? One of the great characters.
He and Annie Potts. Yeah. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah,
what about Spaceballs? That's got to be number 1, right?
I watched Spaceballs not that long ago. Wasn't as funny as I originally remembered it.
Well, none of these movies will be. Spoiler alert. Little Giants won't be either.
Ghostbusters withstands the test of time. Still an excellent movie.
Fair enough. We can end on agreement there. Thank you as always, brother. Appreciate you. John Marks, again, at John Marks Media, 2 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time with Ike Reese, 94 WIP. Thank you, sir. Rick Moranis, man. This looks like he's okay. Who in the right, who goes up and punches Rick Moranis? Come on. Who raised you that you're just going to go up there and knock Rick Moranis in the head? It's got to be Spaceballs as the number 1, right? Now, I know people will say as far as popularity, but I don't know if he played as big of a role in Ghostbusters for that to constitute as a Rick Moranis film. We'll wrap the hour next year on the Second Level.
Where are jobs in radio given out? They're not given out on a college campus.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Real world, at real
Yeah.
radio station.
But that was more centered around the special effects and the kids, though.
Most schools
What about Little Shop of Horrors?
to learn from
Is that-
professional mentors in real radio stations.
Or Strange Brew?
These places so you can apprentice under professionals.
Yes, Strange
And as
Brew.
You learn, you're making connections and gaining access to the people that are doing the hiring. This is not the promise of a job, no, but it is a promise to get you as close to the action and opportunities as possible. If COVID is a concern, no problem. You can learn from a radio professional via remote learning tools as well.
I don't know.
This is education reimagined to keep you out of debt as you learn
What-
in
I mean-
real-world settings. Interested?
Strange
Visit
Brew,
radioconnection.com
Spaceballs,
for
and
more
Honey, I
information
Shrunk the
today.
Kids?
That's radioconnection.com.
Is there any other one you could really make an argument for?
Team play, but don't
I'm just thinking of iconic movies that he was in.
I mean, Ghostbuster, I just
Fort
don't
Worth
know.
and
My
San
Blue
Antonio
Heaven is
from
a
the
really good
popular
movie, but I don't know if
and Jen's.
Little Shop of Horrors.
What was he?
Or see some of the sites. Culture Map has extensive.
Oh yeah,
coverage
he
on all the
was.
things
He
to
was
do in the
Seymour.
city you're
Yeah.
in. That's culturemap.com.
Parenthood.
The Jake Asman Show.
The Jets are just a disgraceful football team so far in 2020. And it starts with this head coach. Who might
I
be
guess
the
you're right.
worst
I
head
mean,
coach in the NFL.
Rick Moranis
Let's start.
is listed as a co-star, but I mean,
Report that somehow
there's so many people in that
firing
movie.
Adam Gase would be bad for this team. Be counterproductive. The Jets have been absolutely abysmal through their first 3 games. They're the only team in the NFL that has yet to hold a lead. They have been outscored by 57
Jeez, I tweeted
points.
the wrong damn thing.
The offense is the worst in the league. They've only scored 4 touchdowns. And this brilliant owner, Christopher Johnson, said that Adam Gase is a brilliant offensive mind. The offense is terrible. The defense can't tackle. They never touch a quarterback. I mean, my God.
The Jake Asman Show, weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern.
Was that new? Was that from today?
Stop with the Jeff Van Gundy for the
Jake Asman one?
Yeah.
No, it's from yesterday.
Oh.
NBA for the last 15 years. The guy's got the cushiest job in television. If he comes back after what has it been, 20 years to coach, up keel over. I mean, he's been offered every job in America. He's been offered the White House, and he turned that down too.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
I just don't know if he was as much of a power player in Ghostbusters. You know, I really don't know if you could call that a Rick Moranis movie. Now,
No.
think about that, right?
Ghostbusters 2, he donned the suit.
Yes, he did. Who would you compare? He's kind of like Frank Costanza, right? He's kind of like an ancillary character that recurs in a sitcom that's not.
It's vital to the show,
But you wouldn't call Seinfeld a Jerry Stiller show.
right.
You might say it's one of the
You
4
wouldn't-
stars.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't even think you'd say that. I don't even. He's probably the 5th. He's the 6th man coming off the bench.
Moranis.
if you will. Yeah.
Because okay, this is an interesting question here because you might even argue the 7th man. Think about this. You've got the 4 Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Sigourney Weaver is 5. Now becomes the argument of Annie Potts or Rick Moranis. I know both of them were kind of connected in a role, but I don't know if you could slight Annie. Annie Potts was really good as the secretary and also like boyfriend of Rick Moranis.
Yeah. Well, boyfriend of Rick Moranis, that was second one though.
Oh yeah, they started dating in the second one. Sorry.
Yeah, the first one, he just turned into a dog.
Correct. Yes. Zool, right?
Zool.
The gatekeeper and the keymaster. Correct. So I don't think we can count Ghostbusters as like he's the 6th and or 7th.
I would say he's the 6th man. He's an important person in that movie. But yeah, you highlight the 4. Those are those 4. The Sigourney Weaver, I mean, it's hard to give even her a nod.
Right.
So if it's hard to give Sigourney Weaver,
I agree.
You can't give it to Moranis.
You can't really do that. Yeah. You can't give it to Moranis there. It's Spaceballs, My Blue Heaven, and Little Shop of Horrors.
Maybe.
Is there
Spaceballs is a definite.
I would think Little Shop too. Or Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. What about that? You said it was more about.
But I think it gets more about the special effects and the. So what? Somebody punched him in the face? Is that what the
Yeah,
story
just
was?
a random attack. Somebody walked up and punched him in the head in Central Park West.
Were they upset that he said he was going to retire and stayed retired?
I honestly have no idea.
You've heard that story, right?
No.
Like why we haven't seen him in anything?
No.
After his wife died young of cancer.
Right.
He just up and retired from Hollywood and said, no, I'm just going to take care of my kids from here on out. I'm just going to be dead for them. He
Right.
didn't want to go off and be at a movie set or drag them around to here and there. He just retired and just
Right.
became a dad.
Right.
So how the hell do you punch him in the face?
Yeah.
The right thing.
Parent,
You think it was a
are
planned, targeted
exposing
attack?
All of your minions in the media who have talked.
I don't know. Yeah, there's crazy people out there. That's all I can say. But we can't forget Strange Brews.
I know. It's hard to find 3.
Yeah.
Getting involved in this topic.
telling you,
So
man.
that idea of separating sports, I don't want to hear it. They want it out when it's against them. And so the line between sports and politics is gone. I don't ever want to hear another thing about Black Lives Matter or a guy kneeling in the end zone that distracts you or whatnot, because that is gone. It's no longer a conversation. If you don't like that, okay, I'm sorry, but that's reality.
Pushing the Odds with Matt Peralt. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern.
The Jake Asman Show.
What's an easier costume, the Gardner Minshew or me always being Jake from State Farm every year? I would say Jake from State Farm. All you need is khaki pants, a red polo shirt, print out the State Farm logo, print out a name tag that says Jake, and you're ready to go. It is the go-to costume of mine because it's easy and people always laugh. And unlike other people that do it, my name is actually Jake.
The Jake Asman Show. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern.
Wake up call.
This is one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. It was so great to see Vin Scully get on Twitter. And when he said just a bunch of friends, I was warmed. I was like, he thinks we're friends.
Yes, I felt the same way.
If I engage in him, we're friends. Vin Scully is fantastic.
Listen, Vince Scully just taking to social media, recording a video for a few minutes, talking about baseball, talking about whatever it might be. I'm all in.
I want to hear him do whatever he wants to do.
I want to hear him talk about dirt, talk
I don't
about
care.
fish, talk about the number 13. I couldn't hit the follow button fast enough.
I know, I couldn't either. I mean, it was so great. The broadcaster I grew up loving was Johnny Most of the Celtics. He was the play-by-play voice of the Celtics. But when you listen to Johnny Most, it was like listening to a guy gargling razor blades after smoking 4 cigars and drinking some scotch. Whereas Scully was like honey dripping down. It was like this voice from heaven.
Wake up call with Tony B and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
Coast to coast.
Why should some teams be allowed to have fans and other teams can't have any? You talk about a disadvantage. I mean, it's that simple. Plus, who wants to go to a Dolphin game anyway? They suck. They're not going to play Tua. They're going to suck anyway like they always do. So who wants to go to a Dolphin game? Joe Ranieri knows they suck too. I wouldn't bet on him if it hit me in the head.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
The second level.
I saw this come out that the ACC will propose that every single team in Division One will make the 2021 NCAA tournament. Let's be honest with ourselves. There's only one name who's really running the show here, Mike Krzyzewski. It ain't our buddy in UNC right now. It's not Big Roy down there. You know, even the history that's there with Syracuse. There are some coaches that you would point to by all means. The person right there at the top of that tree, right when you walk in, and you always see that in like the crime show where they have all the names up there and it always leads up to the top person, the boss. The boss behind this has got to be Mike Krzyzewski. He's the godfather. Maybe that's a better way to put it, right? At the very least, Don Krzyzewski gave his blessing.
The second level with Eitan Shander. Weekdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern.
Are you thinking that it's time to start looking for a new car? Then go to automotivemap.com to see the latest auto news, find out about what's ahead for your favorite brands, and learn how much that new car will cost you. Automotivemap.com is your place to see reviews, check out the hottest exotic cars, read tales from the road, and get acquainted with the luxury automotive lifestyle. Into hot mods? Want to see the cars celebrities drive? Love a good restoration job? From off-roading to on-roading, automotivemap.com has it covered. Visit automotivemap.com today.
Jake Asman here. One of the big changes we're all dealing with is wearing a mask, but not all offer the same comfort and protection. I recommend the Boomer Naturals 3-layer comfortable, breathable mask in hands with nano silver technology. Nano silver can block those tiny drops and particles from getting to your nose and mouth. They also offer those popular nano silver neck gaiters, available in sizes for adults and children, in stock now and shipped to you fast. Order now at boomernaturals.com. Use promo code Jake and save 20%. That's code Jake at boomernaturals.com.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
This is a Gow Media property in partnership with Jacob Media.
Set your system's volume control for slightly above the normal listening level.
Let's go. Second level thinking is defined as looking beyond the easy, obvious conclusions.
You got to do some smart thinking.
Welcome to the second level on the Sports Map Radio Network, a show where we go beyond the box score.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
Our second hour begins. We've got fake news, of course, with Ron Culver. We need to get our impulse picks, which is basically just going as fast as possible. We'll explain what that is. Ron is up 4-0 after week 3 in the NFL. We started week 3. It just kind of came to us, and we'll do that. Look at some games. I mean, we had all this discussion about the NBA, the ratings, and also the big news around the league, which is Doc Rivers found a job in 3 days total time. I will say this. What came out at the end of the interview with John Marks, who just joined us in the first hour, was a question about Rick Moranis, who was attacked. It looks like a senseless attack that came out of nowhere, where somebody just punched him in the face in Central Park, or right on Central Park West, which is one of the streets that surrounds the grid that is the park. It came up about top 3 Moranis movies, and John mentioned Ghostbusters. Well, on this show, and I put this tweet out at Shander Show and actually got a bunch of responses, so we'll have to sift through that. But on this show, before we even tweeted that out, we deduced that Ghostbusters cannot count. That Ghostbusters, he simply is the 6th, possibly the 7th most popular person or most influential person
Great movie
in that show. Fantastic, all-timer, and stands the test of time. But one movie that we forgot was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So we're basically at like 4. This is the equivalent of a fantasy scenario where it's like, I've got 4, pick 3. You know, when you put out 4 wide receivers on Twitter and you tell everybody like, hey, these 4 wide receivers, you pick 3 and they have to start. I feel like we have 4 movies that could slide into a top 3 for Rick Moranis. Is that right? We've got Little Shop, in no particular order, Little Shop, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Spaceballs, and My Blue Heaven, or Strange Brew, actually.
Strange Brew.
And My Blue Heaven.
God.
That's 6.
Why does he have to do quality stuff?
You know, think about that. We really have underrated Rick Moranis. He is a top heavy. He didn't do a lot of amazing stuff, and it wasn't all consistent. Little Giants was not memorable, but these other ones are.
Students. I forgot about Little Giants.
You can't slide that in, though.
God, but he was great in that.
Calls effectively.
Annexation of Puerto Rico. What about the Flintstones? He was Barney Rubble.
Installs and refills touchless hand sanitizer dispensers and provides commercial services to help minimize employee exposure. Give everyone the confidence they need.
Little Giants?
Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
I'm going through his roster here of stuff. I mean, you gotta keep the Strange Brew has to be up there, because I think that's top.
Shopping for your next hotel room. BestHotelRates.com. It's in the name.
You think that's at the top?
Yeah, I think. Well, I think. Strange Brews got to be up there. Spaceballs definitely. Little Shop of Horrors. And what? My Blue Heaven.
I mean, Strange Brew, though. You can't take Strange Brew out, right?
You can't.
Of temperatures.
It's unethical.
Scott's Turf Builder. And build the best lawn for every season. Scott's. It's good out here.
I'm here to translate for a beautiful lab mix named Maggie. She's adopted. Maggie wants to tell you about Bobs for Dogs from Skechers. Maggie says that for every pair of Bobs sold, Skechers will make a donation to the Petco Foundation. And that they've already saved over 1 million sheltered pets, including dogs.
Wow, a lot of resistance on Ghostbusters not being a
Thanks, Maggie.
Moranis
Bobs
movie.
for Dogs from Skechers. Available at Petco.
Sorry, it's not.
Are sold.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. And MLS number 3030.
What do you get when you talk to a Dell Technologies advisor? You get someone who understands there's an art to listening, who's able to hear more than what's being said, and can provide tailored small business solutions that make you feel truly heard.
I understand.
Spaceball, Strange Brew, and My Blue Heaven. Now, you would leave out, he played Seymour, like the star of...
Advisor today at 877 Dell.
You can't leave that one out. Little Shop of Horrors is like a cult classic now.
You're listening to the Sports Map Radio Network, broadcasting safely with our mask from Boomer Naturals.
Order now at boomernaturals.com. Use promo code SportsMapRadio for 20% off.
I'm conflicted.
Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eitan Shander.
News in the NFL. Now, there are two things I want to focus on, and we'll get back to this Rick Moranis thing before fake news, I promise, because there are a couple of tweets, and so far the best one came from Joseph Morella at J Morella on Twitter, talking about if, in fact, Rick Moranis can claim Ghostbusters as one of his own. Ernie Hudson can. Sigourney Weaver, we determined, probably can. Everybody, all other three Ghostbusters, Harold Ramis, Peter Venkman, Bill Murray, of course, Dan Aykroyd, they all can. All four of the Ghostbusters and arguably Weaver can. And that's where it left us on the other side of Rick Moranis. Now, as far as the Titans are concerned, two more players or people technically test positive. One of them a player, the other a coach from last Friday. And on top of that, you look at the other player that we found. So that's a total recently, at least, of two that have tested positive. And then you had the coach. And this was clearly the right decision to shut everything down for the Titans and Steelers game. We also know as a result of this that they said, the league did, that they will increase significantly the amount of daily testing that will be done in the league. And so far, they've only had one issue. Nobody in Minnesota, as far as the Vikings front office or anybody else who was trapped, nobody in Minnesota tested positive as a member of the Vikings. And the Vikings were just allowed back to practice, which has me thinking that they're a little disrupted this week and that everything we've seen from creatures of habit and knowing how important your routine is for any professional athlete, I don't care if you're playing hockey or football, having your routine disrupted like this with the pressures and anxiety of COVID hanging over you. And that is the reason why I'm inclined to say Houston this weekend has and it's already been bet up a point as a result. Houston this weekend should have a pretty good game and a good matchup in which they should be able to take advantage of. Outside, of course, Minnesota just being awful. Now, both of these teams are good shots right now. I don't want to say short or long shots, but just decent shots right now to turn their seasons around and actually make a push for that final wild card. Minnesota, though, this is a bad week for the Vikings. Not a good week. And if you're confident like I am, you would lay the 4 points. It's too much on the money line for Houston at minus 190. This was a game anyway that Houston was going to show the rest of the world. Look, it was more our schedule the first 3 weeks than anything else. This was the week in which the two quarterbacks, you would see a clear distinction between Kirk Cousins and Deshaun Watson head-to-head, knowing, of course, it's not truly head-to-head, but it's team head-to-head. And it's already been bet up. I have no problem with that. This one makes sense. Some of these other blinds, as big as they may be and as scary as they may be, a Chargers line is tempting at 7. It really is tempting. But looking at what Minnesota has gone through this week, despite, and again, this has nothing to do with positive tests because Minnesota doesn't have any positive tests. But what the Vikings went through is disruption. It's not having your true sense of practice and schedule in front of you, and you are past that first week. If this is the first week of the NFL season, it's a little different. It's probably a lot different. You've already played 3 weeks. You're on the road as well. It's not easy as is for an 0-3 football team to win on the road or even cover. It's a short line. Granted, Houston is bad, but we've seen very little home field advantage be attributed to these lines. They're getting 4, which to me tells me if they had at least one win against any of those teams they played, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Kansas City, in reverse order, it probably would be up to 6, 6.5. Houston would be looked at as that much better. But unfortunately, and you have to keep some sense of balance here, nobody would take Houston right now at 0-3 minus 6, 6.5. Nobody would. It would be bet so much on the other end that it would be a loss. Unless, of course, Houston comes in and dominates, which is definitely a possibility, but it's all about reading it ahead of time. Nobody's going to dive into that when it's set at 6.5. 3.5, a little different. 3.5, a little different. Then you add this news where they're just able to get back into the swing of things. And again, the facilities have been closed. You'll get a couple of days, unlike what happened with Nashville, where they wouldn't even been able to physically practice despite the facility being reopened and had no preparation and no time to do it. And now you see that there is still an issue of people testing positive. But come on, how can you not right now lay those 4 points comfortably, knowing that Houston has just sat at home and just practiced? That's all Houston. Houston has not been impacted by this. Minnesota, unfortunately, has been impacted by this despite not having any positive cases. That's what we call an opportunity, and that's what we call value on the board. Why scoff at it? Why turn your nose at it? Why look at this like, no, it's not worth my time or effort? Absolutely it is. This might be one of the few locks on the board from a spread standpoint all weekend. And I don't know, maybe you were already confident that Houston comes out and wins the game, but even still, and this is another element you can play here. Houston is minus 190 right now on the money line, which of course is a lot. You're almost at 2-1 right there to lay in order to get anything back. But when you look at how short that is, and again, if you pound 3 or 4 heavy money lines, you might not even get back to an even return. But you know Houston is going to win this football game. Even if they don't cover and they win by a field goal, they're going to win this football game. Minus 190 brings you much closer and pushes you over to a positive return. And I'll give you an example here, right? We'll take the Rams at minus 770, and we'll take the Ravens at minus 1,000. All right. So right now I'm at minus 412. If I wanted to add a third team to kind of bring me down much closer, the Texans at minus 190 are going to get me at minus 111. That's really good. minus 111, minus 112, depending on where you are. I'm looking locally here on DraftKings. But now I've taken 2 certain victories. The Giants are not going into LA after the Rams lost a really tough, tight game to the Bills last week, nor are the Washington football teams going to do whatever the hell they do in the first half and then blow it in the second half and beat the Ravens. That's just not, neither one of those teams, Baltimore or LA, are going to lose back-to-back weeks, especially in the second week of those back-to-back losses coming as a result of the 2 worst teams in the NFL. That's not going to happen. Houston is going to take advantage of this as well. In fact, we did this last week, and the only thing that missed last week was the Eagles-Bengals tie. But we gave you the 3-way safe play parlay of the week. And that hit outside, of course, of the Eagles and Bengals tying, so therefore that was voided, and you still hit the other 2. Maybe not as big of a return as you expected, but it paid out. This week, it's Rams, Ravens, Texans on the money line. All 3 of them on the money line. And it'll get you at minus 112. That's pretty much what you'd be laying anyway on these spreads. And you've just combined 3 to get you a good bet at a low return where, yes, it's minus 112 and you have to lay 12 points of juice. I'm sorry, but think about how certain you feel about that as opposed to any of these bets. Even a 13 or 12.5 line is a lot to lay when it's the same amount of juice. In some cases, you may even have to lay more depending on the book. I'm fine with that. Our 3-way safe play NFL parlay of the week. I don't feel confident yet to do something in college outside of tonight. Now, tonight, I think if you really wanted to combine something, you can take this Louisiana Tech BYU game and the Memphis SMU game and basically run a teaser or parlay on the totals. Now, I ran a small little teaser on there, and I was able to bring the total down for La Tech and BYU to 52 points, went over. And I was able to bring the total for Memphis and SMU all the way up to 81.5 and went under. So it's a 6.5, depending on where you can look at it. You can do that 6.5, 7-point teaser. Brought those totals up, down, whatever it may be, went over what I brought down for La Tech BYU tonight, and then the Memphis SMU game. Memphis SMU, there's going to be a lot of points, but it's really difficult for Memphis right now to keep up in that regard. And knowing that they're on the road, 81.5 points. It was in the 70s, but now 81.5 points becomes really difficult. Both teams are going to score a lot of points. I probably see that somewhere in the low 70s right now, but even with a blowout, 81.5 becomes extremely hard to reach. On the flip side, tonight, as BYU hosts La Tech, we should see a lot of offense. And I think BYU specifically, it's not going to be a lot of ground control. It's not going to be a lot of clock moving. Both teams are going to want to throw the football, test defenses here, each other's defenses here. 52 is not a big ask to go over. And that gets you 105. So maybe there is a small little college that we can throw in as well each week. But the main one coming in the NFL, this one's a nice little play here. Over 52 tonight if you can bring it down. Under 81.5 on Saturday between Memphis and SMU when you bring it up. Either way, if you just wanted to play those two totals as is. Now, I brought them down to be safe, and it got me still at a plus 105 return. But even if you wanted to just play them straight up, I'd still go over and under respectively, but it's much easier when you can add a point or two. At Shander Show, twitch.tv/Shander Show, 800-224-2004. Mention this tweet regarding Rick Moranis and Ghostbusters. And I'll read you Joseph Morella's tweet. Borderline. He steals every minute he is on screen, but is a secondary, almost tertiary character. I'd be willing to give it to him because it's a character that is a sizable part of the story, even without as much screen time. Now, that might be the best counter that we've heard. So I responded to Joseph and said, well, what about Andy Potts? And you look at Weaver. So Joe says, for me, I'd go above Potts, below Weaver. and I'd actually go above Ernie Hudson. I mean, there's a reason Eddie Murphy didn't end up in the role, but it is also an ensemble film. There really isn't a lead per se. There isn't a lead, but I think you can draw that line. And right now, I think that there is a major disagreement on what side of the line Rick Moranis is when it comes to being able to claim Ghostbusters. Spaceball, Strange Brew, and My Blue Heaven. Is that a trio? Before we break and hit fake news, Ron, is that a trio that you can run with? We don't have Little Shop, nor do we have the other one in there. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
I think we can get rid.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, we can get rid of.
Yeah, I think we can get rid of that one.
So we're down to now Spaceball, Strange Brew, My Blue Heaven, or Little Shop. Little Shop, I feel like Little Shop, it's tough. Now, what are you going to take out? Spaceballs, you can't, because Spaceballs was ensemble, but he dominated.
Yeah.
He was the Peter Venkman of Spaceballs.
Well, he's the bad guy.
In an uncanny fashion. Nobody would ever picture Darth Vader like Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
All right.
So, I mean, you can't get rid of him.
No, you can't. We have a lot to do. Fake news next. Then, of course, our impulse picks before we get out of here. It's the second level on Sports Map Radio.
The second level.
There's Brian Compton weighing in from the New York Islanders.
So desperate to make a major splash.
He says, yes, got to go Ghostbusters.
How bad it was.
No, you don't. Sorry, he's wrong.
Still a young team like New Orleans is, but they're also old enough to kind of be set in some ways like the Rockets are. So Doc comes in, and I don't know if the expectation is he's going to be the young growing star whisperer, but that must have been a moment in which he was able to convince people, give me more power than just being a head coach. I can't imagine Doc Rivers is coming into this situation with zero control or like 50-50 control over a move like, hey, let's trade Tobias Harris tomorrow, or we should have moved on from Al Horford yesterday. Stuff like this. Like, I can't imagine.
The second level with
Nice. That's
Sander.
a nice little turnaround right there.
1 p.m. Eastern.
You're a
Imagine learning
promo
about
machine,
radio
man.
and being mentored by true
Pumping out
radio
stuff for
professionals.
Jake.
When I hear content that I can't ignore, I got to do it right then and there.
I love
There's
that.
Radio Connection. Radio Connection gives you the opportunity to learn one-on-one and be mentored by radio pros. Plus, you don't have to worry about getting into a crazy amount of debt with school tuition either. Radio Connection keeps their tuition at much lower costs. To find out more info, visit radioconnection.com.
Pushing the odds with Matt Peralt.
Talking to Anthony Tolliver, Memphis Grizzlies here on Pushing the Odds. You were quoted by the commercial appeal as saying, we have to actually stand up, talk about, and be, and do whatever we can to affect the change that we want to see. Is that what the Bucks did, to do anything that they can do to affect change?
Absolutely. We are athletes. We are entertainers. We are basketball players. But before all of that, we are men. The NBA is comprised of 80% black. There's a reason why the NBA is leading the charge in a lot of these things, because we are 80%. People who seems to be on all these news channels keep getting shot or hurt. They look like me. They look like LeBron James. They look like Steph Curry. They look like us. So we are like, well, what can we do to, to spark conversation to help this to stop happening as much as we can?
Pushing the Odds with Matt Peralt. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern.
Wake up call. If you're a Patriot fan and you're celebrating Brady's failure, I just don't get it. He gave you success as an NFL fan you don't really deserve. You don't deserve 20 years of excellence.
He gave you 2 decades of a dynasty. That's better than anything the NFL has ever produced.
In 20 years of going to the Super Bowls, and let this guy enjoy semi-retirement down in Florida.
Because that's what you do in New England, right? You go down to
That's
Florida to
right.
retire.
Wake up call with Tony V and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
So, can I ask you a question?
Fake news with Ron. With all the fake news out there,
Don't believe those lies.
it's on Shander to give it to you straight. 3 stories, but only one is fake.
It's true. I know it's a weird thought, but it's true.
Can Shander spot the fraud? Here's Ron Culver.
End of the week. Last fake news of the week.
Yeah.
I think we're going to end strong, too.
You sure?
I think you got this today. Throwing up lollipops.
Okay.
Cans of corn, if you will.
Do you have that Chicago story in here
What Chicago story?
with Michael Jordan and?
No. I
Okay,
don't.
we'll have to hit that.
Yeah. Maybe.
Well, I'm saying after this.
Sure. You
I'm
ready?
surprised you didn't see that. Yes, I am
No,
ready.
I saw it. I just ignored it.
Okay.
Moved on from it. I tried to find the obscure stories.
Well, I'm just saying in general. Like, did you guys bring it up this morning?
Nah, we didn't bring it up this morning.
Too much
to talk about.
football, right?
Yeah, too much Jets Broncos to break down.
I noticed that I didn't get a text to talk about Doc Rivers on the morning show with Tony D and Ron Culver.
Nah.
You could have just had me pop in and
I could have. We had already had. I already had a college football guest before that booked.
and then you can't. You have a one guest quota a day for your show.
We do. We do actually.
All right, let's get into this. I'm sorry.
We used to. Yeah, well, I'll tell you later. Okay, story number 1. Scientists pulled animal DNA out of resin, successfully extracting genetic material from insects. Now it's time to just cue real life Jurassic Park happening.
Really? How? Wait a second. Are they growing it?
What do you mean growing?
Like how are they getting
It's
the?
only a matter of time. They grab, bugs or mosquitoes get trapped in the amber, right, into sap, and then it turns into amber over time, and they it preserves the mosquito, and they successfully removed and were able to read the genetic code of an animal.
That's what I'm saying. So how are they
Yeah.
creating it in some like tank? Is this going to be off a 3D printer where they're going to print out a Tyrannosaurus Rex?
Probably. I mean, they could. They had Dolly the sheep. I mean, it's going to be. I don't know. It's going to be Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I mean, would you go to a Jurassic Park? I wouldn't.
See, God, I mean,
Would you? Like, think about it. Would you go to? We talked about the parrots yesterday.
I know. That is a hard question because I would be fascinated to see a dinosaur, but I think I would be like one of those guys to say, "Hey, can you just put me in a helicopter? I can hover above it. I never want to set foot on the ground, but I would like to see it from the sky."
Probably going to cost you a little extra penny or two.
It would probably cost me a lot of extra pennies. You kidding me? But so would just seeing a dinosaur.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
John Hammond wanted to make that that zoo
A real thing, right?
for not just for the uber rich.
Got it. Okay.
So that's story 1. Story number 2: Amazon is exploring the idea of drone delivering body organs, from one hospital to another in cities where traffic is horrible.
So normally the drones were there, but
I don't think they've ever been delivering organs.
organs, right?
This is
And I didn't think you could get organs delivered. Can you?
well, say a hospital's like, "Hey, we need a liver," and then the hospital across town goes, "Hey, we just got a liver." Instead of using cars on the streets, they're going to be using drones, and Amazon is on the forefront.
Okay, so this is not like you ordered it off Amazon
No,
and you got a kidney sent to you.
It's almost like they're providing their service, but they're
Right.
catching some change for it. Because,
Boy, there has to be a lot of red tape and
Oh, yeah.
contracts and insurance for something like that. I mean, look, everything. If you could get it delivered by drone, then why not? It's not going to freak me out if it means that it's going to get here a day or two earlier, right? If I can get something delivered from Amazon 2 days prior to the expected delivery date because they can fly a drone from the facility carrier 2 miles away from my house, then absolutely sign me up for that. You don't even need to land the thing. Just drop the box in my front porch.
That's right.
All right, that's story 2.
Story number 3: sales of Fleetwood Mac's Dreams. You know that song?
Yes, I do.
They have skyrocketed this past week, all thanks to a viral TikTok video.
Huh. What was the video?
Yeah, you got the video. The guy is skateboarding down a hill in California.
I don't think I've seen that.
Ooh, got a great video.
So, as a result of this
As a
video
result
that
of
went,
that video that's gone viral,
see, I have no.
sales of that song Dreams by Fleetwood Mac have skyrocketed over this past week.
Right. But I'm just curious as far as if that video is even real.
I can tell you this, that video is the anti-2020. It's the shot in the arm that we need.
See, I don't have any
2020.
I have no frame of reference because I haven't seen that video. So I'm just going to take your word for it. But we're in a situation where you're trying to trick me.
Oh, think I would do that to you?
Yeah.
God, man. That's...
All right. Why don't you run through real quick the headlines?
Scientists pulled animal DNA out of resin. So all we're waiting for now is Jurassic Park to be built.
Right.
Amazon is exploring the idea of
organs.
drone delivering organs from one hospital to another. And sales of Fleetwood Mac's Dreams have skyrocketed thanks to a viral TikTok video.
Well, I mean, we're already there with number 2. So that's not a big reach. Story 3, it makes sense. Despite me not seeing the video, we are so starved for anything nostalgia driven that you run one song in a commercial and then next thing you know, everybody's buying that single again, downloading it, I guess, technically now. So I could see that happening despite me not knowing anything about that TikTok video. Boy, one is so specific that it makes me think it has to be true. I'm going to go 1 against my better judgment.
That one is fake?
Yes.
Okay. Fake story of the day? Number 2.
The
I'm
one that I
sure-
thought was, I was positive was real.
I'm sure number 2 will be true in the near future, but as of right now, I haven't heard of Amazon doing organ delivering yet.
We might have to research that to be sure.
But yeah, one, Jurassic Park is probably right around the corner. Give it 10 more years, and Fleetwood Mac is making a comeback.
I'm happy for them.
Garner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage, making the right financial decisions.
So you really haven't seen this video?
No, the
You
TikTok video?
You got to look it up right now, man. Go to because it is literally the shot. It is the anti-2020.
.com.
Okay, hold
Go
on.
to Twitter, just to start typing in Fleetwood Mac. It'll probably pop up Fleetwood Mac Dreams.
Fixed rate mortgage is 3.375%. APR
Yeah.
3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you.
And you'll see a guy on a skateboard
Drinking
guy with a
cranberry
shaved
juice?
head, drinking cranberry juice.
Pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
The pursuit is on. The pursuit of
That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
management business of Prudential.
All right, hold on
with
a second.
deep
I gotta grab a
expertise
pen.
to
Hold on.
outthink across asset classes, outsteer, actively managing investments in global markets, outscale with resources to serve 1,500 clients in 52 countries, and outlast with long-term conviction that looks beyond today's volatility. Join the pursuit of outperformance at pgim.com. That's pgim.com.
Okay, ladies, we all know one of the greatest feelings in the world when a friend says, "Girl, those pants look amazing on you." And I say, "Thanks, they're Skechers Go Walk Wear pants."
This
And
guy
while
have
I
like
always get compliments
more
on these
videos
casual,
like this, or
athletic,
was this
stretchy
just some
pants,
random thing
they're
that
made with
came out of it?
comfortable
I think he might have more videos like this, but I don't remember the guy's name.
Plus, they're machine washable and come in extended sizes. That's the Skechers Go Walk Wear line of pants. Find yours at Skechers.com or a Skechers store near you.
This is time that matters.
But because of that video, that song it went to the top 10s on iTunes charts this past week.
This is your window of protection. Schedule their well visit now. Brought to you by Merck.
Every 2 minutes, a woman in the U.S. is diagnosed with breast cancer. And in that moment in time, her life changes forever. We're fighting alongside patients because we know one moment can change a lifetime.
Third floor study hall.
My dining room table. Homeroom Monday and Tuesday. My living room Wednesday to Friday.
Wherever school happens for you this year, Staples has amazing prices on everything your student needs. This week, get 20% off copies and prints for school. That's 20% off posters, worksheets, schedules, and reports. Shop in-store or pick up curbside. School on, save on. Staples. Visit staples.com/school printing for coupon. In-store only. Exclusions apply. Ends 10/31. Curbside available in most stores.
You're listening to The Second Level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores, here's Eitan Shander.
So that's the Fleetwood Mac song on the video, and I did see the video. It's cool, but I don't know. I guess I thought
You thought it was going to be something else.
Yeah.
But it's almost hypnotic.
Yeah, a little bit. You're right. A little bit.
I don't know if it's, just him carefree riding a skateboard, drinking cranberry juice mixed with the song. There's just good vibes through it. And that's kind of, I don't know. I look at, when I see it, I just kind of look at it like, this is what anti-2020, all the angst going on. This is what we need.
Yeah, I agree. This is definitely, now YouTube is probably going to ban this show now because we're playing Fleetwood Mac. But yes, I agree that.
Get rid of Fleetwood Mac YouTube. Don't ban the show.
Well, that's all right. I mean, at this point, the damage has been done. But no, I agree. Where you look at the video itself was definitely cool. It was a little hypnotic and definitely doing something that I can't do, which is seamlessly skate down a highway while holding a selfie stick and drinking cranberry juice like it's nothing. So it was a cool video, don't get me wrong, but I thought it was going to be something. I guess I thought it was going to be something different.
Sometimes, the simple things can go viral.
Very true.
That's all it is.
Very true.
Just something simple.
All right. We have another round of impulse picks. Are you ready? Thank goodness we don't have to talk about that game from last week or last night, pardon me, anymore. Move on from that.
I'm excited to give you my Steelers-Titans pick. I've been really thinking about, the matchup happening this weekend.
When it comes to Tuesday night football?
Or Monday night, or I thought it was on Sunday.
No.
It's Sunday, isn't it the noon? What part of the noon games?
It's the 9:30. That's what they should have done, is just played it at 9:30, get it over with.
Technically, we do have an update with that, by the way.
Another update?
Yeah, Steelers-Titans will play October 25th.
Which is week
I guess
8?
7? Or is that week 8? Because
you're right. Week 7.
It's week 7 because Ravens Steelers has been moved to week 8. Now the Ravens bye has changed to week 7.
Oh, that's not terrible for the
week 6.
No, I'm looking at it now. It's week 7. It's already been updated on the schedule. Week 7, October 25th, Steelers-Titans. Great. I'm telling you, the only team that has truly been affected by any of this, outside of the obvious, which is the personal health, safety, and well-being of the players and coaches who contracted COVID. And that's the biggest, really should be the only major concern and focus when it comes to the downfall of this.
Don't say it.
What's that?
I know. Just go ahead.
No.
Don't say your team.
I'm just saying for this week.
No.
For this week.
No.
The Eagles are next week. That's next week. For this week, it's the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings did nothing wrong. Not that the Titans technically did anything wrong.
They tested negative, so their game is still on.
Their game is on, but they haven't been able to practice until today. Their facility has been shut down. They've been virtually talking and doing Zoom meetings, not going through walkthroughs or anything like that. They're taking on a team in Houston that is desperate right now, absolutely desperate for a victory. They have the better quarterback by a mile. It's not even close. And there really is still an argument, and I know that not everybody wants to have it, but there still is a little argument that Houston was way more victim of their schedule than anything else. Doesn't mean that they're not a bad team, but it also means that they may not be an 0-3 team. Vikings, I'm not so sure yet. That team is awful, outside, of course, of their running back. But that is big news that it was moved. Thank you for that update. On week 7's October 25th, that's Sunday. As for now, we've got a bunch of games here. Let's start. You ready? Are you ready?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I forgot to turn my mic on. I'm talking to you. Yep.
All right. So you're up 4-0, meaning the margin of victory last week was 4-0. Look at that. Even some music here. This is our impulse picks of the week. All right. Let's start. Colts, Bears. Bears still a 2.5-point home dog. I'm taking Indy.
I'm taking Indy.
All
I'm
right.
liking what Phillip Rivers is doing. I think that defense is much better than anyone's given it credit for. And Nick Foles did great in the comeback, but it's the Falcons. So
Jags, Bengals, 3-point line. Bengals the home favorite. I'm taking the Cincinnati Burrows, brother.
You know what? I am too. I'm glad you said that. I thought I was going to be the lone wolf.
No, they're going to get their first win of the season, and Joe Burrow's going to explode.
I believe in Burrows.
I love it. That's a great it went from, was there a tank for Burrow? Bust for Burrow, or Burrow or bust
I
or
don't
something?
think so. There was never a tank for Burrow.
It was just assumed that Cincinnati was going to get him.
It was a tank for Tua, and then once we knew that Bengals were dead last,
Right.
like, you got to bring the hometown kid
That's
home.
right. That's right. Cleveland, Dallas. I've seen this thing been bet down already a full point. It's down to 4.5. I'm not concerned there. I like Dallas with the points.
All right, I'm going to go Browns.
Okay.
I think Baker.
Now, you owe us no explanation for these. You know that, right?
I know, but I feel like I do. I think Baker has I think that Baker and the Browns offense is finally starting to cook.
Okay. New Orleans is a 4-point road favorite. I think Detroit loses, but actually covers that line. Your thoughts?
I'm taking Saints.
You're going to take New Orleans and lay
I
the
think-
points,
yeah, I
and
think it's-
no matter what.
Drew Brees has got to show up at some point this season, right?
Yeah, you would think. Although Matthew Stafford looked pretty good, even though their team is 1-2. All right, Seahawks, Dolphins. It's a 6.5-point road favorite for Seattle. Normally this is one of these games where you look back and this is like a loss for Seattle because it's at a conference, it's on the road, it's a 1:00 start, all these other things. But there's something different about this Seahawks team. I'm rolling Seattle, man.
Seattle. Yeah,
Not even giving it a second thought.
Hey, Russell Wilson, he has like 100 touchdown passes in the first 3 games.
Something like that.
He's gonna
98, sorry.
Yeah, he's going to get that same amount against the Dolphins.
All right, your LA Chargers up against the Tampa Bay Brady's. Bucks are a 7-point home favorite. Low total. That should tell you something as well. And a system right now where we've seen the NFL be record-breaking with scoring and touchdowns and all. 43.5 is that total. I really want to take the Chargers, man. I really, really, really want to take the Chargers. I'm going to take them. I'm going to take them.
I'm taking the Chargers too. Listen, I mean, they
Look at that. You're going home.
The Chargers might lose, but I think they'll cover.
Yeah, I like that. I can sit with that. I don't think that's the case for Washington. They're getting 14 at home. Baltimore is just angry, really angry after that loss last week to the Chiefs. I'll take Baltimore 14. Think about that. Minus 14.
I'm taking this has like 38-0 written all
Yeah,
over it.
exactly. I totally. There's no home field advantage, especially when you're playing a team on the other side of the Beltway.
Yeah, can I make a bold prediction here too? Lamar Jackson, 200 rushing yards.
I love that. I'm going to put that down here.
Right.
Lamar,
Somewhere
200.
in that neighborhood.
Yeah, that works.
This is going to be a statement game for the Ravens of everyone who dropped them out of their top 5 because they lost against the Chiefs or whatever.
Shame on you.
Yes.
All right.
Don't ever do that again.
Seriously, why? Why would you? Cardinals, Panthers, 3-point line here. Arizona is the road favorite. I saw this. Teddy Bridgewater only has 2 touchdowns through 3 weeks. They're playing well, but they're not scoring. I like Arizona.
Yeah, I'm going Cardinals too.
All right. Vikings, Texans. You know me. I'm all over Houston. I've been talking about it for the last 15 minutes.
And just
4-point line, just so you know.
That last little nugget that you dropped in about Vikings, they really haven't practiced today. They might have practiced.
Yes.
I think Texans have this one in the bag.
All right. Houston -4 across the board here. 13-point line. I've seen it go from 13 to 12.5. Rams. I think the Rams are in the exact same position that the Ravens are in. The only difference is that the Rams are home. They take on a really bad team following a really tough loss the week before. Give me the Rams.
Aaron Jones is going to abuse Daniel Jones.
Now I have it at 13 here, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, just so you remember, minus
Yeah,
13.
no, this one is another one that's definitely going to be more than 2 touchdowns.
Pats Chefs have already been bet up a half a point. Now it's at 7. I like New England at plus 6.5. I'll take them at plus 7. You want to go against that? You can take KC?
Go Chiefs.
All right, KC minus 7. It's not
Yeah.
terrible at home.
No, they're at home. They do allow some fans into the stands. But I think Mahomes is just otherworldly at this moment.
Bills, Raiders, 3-point road favorite for Buffalo. I think there's just too much going on with the Raiders. They're not a bad team by any means. A lot of injuries, a lot of pressure now from the maskless party that Carr and them had. I'll take Josh Allen is in talks for the MVP. Give me the Bills on the road.
I want to agree with you.
But you won't.
No, I will because I can't pick the Raiders.
Just because?
It's against a Charger code.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not going to argue with that.
But I think I think it's going to be close. I can see the Raiders winning this one. But
it's pretty good value on the money line.
But you know what Josh Allen did to the Rams last week? You can't count him out.
No.
It's only 3. Yeah, give me Buffalo.
I need to see him prove me wrong first in order for me to go against him now.
Yes. Remember, I said we got to be an apologist.
Yep, you're
Josh
right.
Allen apologist.
And we did. We issued
were
an
all wrong.
apology.
And so we would be going back on an apology if we didn't take him here, right?
Correct. Now, Eagles, Niners, I'm not going to let you take Philadelphia. There's just no way. I'm right. I've already written it down here. I wrote it down, part of me here. San Francisco, minus 7. You're not taking the Eagles. I can't.
You know what? I'm going to take the Eagles here.
You're giving me a game. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm giving you
what
something.
rash? We had a guy on from Philadelphia an hour and 10 minutes ago tell you that they have one healthy wide receiver, and I know you know him down there, but Greg Ward. That's it.
Yeah. No, I know.
Houston Cougars' finest, Greg Ward, is it. That's all we got.
Basically, what you're asking me to do, are Eagles on the same level as the Giants?
They're not too far up.
But I think they're far enough up that this is, they have to win a game. They have to win this one.
All right.
But
take the Eagles. Hey, I'm not here to talk you out of a bad decision.
No, okay. I'm just allowing you to catch up to me one week. How about that?
Thank you. Packers, Falcons, Monday night. Let's lock it in here on the picks. Both of us had Green Bay with the points outright victors last week, pardon me. That was Sunday night. We didn't do Monday night then, did we?
No, we didn't.
Okay, so then that's it. We're fine. We're good. We have our impulse picks. We'll take a quick break.
We can do this one on Monday.
Yeah, I don't even know if we add. No, but to be fair, we didn't add the Monday night game in last week.
Yeah, that's true.
This is a brand new segment. We're trying to struggle through things here. And on Friday, we don't get the benefit of a Thursday night game. Oh, man. So I had a teaser running where I had the Jets. I bumped them up to plus 9.5. So I'm watching this game thinking, well, the Broncos, after that final field goal, are up 30-28. No problem there. Jets are going to have one final shot. There you go. This thing's going to cover. That teaser's going to cover. And then, of course, they score that last touchdown. And I knew I had it. And they weren't going to go for 2. But I knew I had it. But still, you can imagine just like that level of angst as Melvin Gordon broke a ridiculously unnecessary long run to seal the game 37-28. And I get in by a half point. Very lucky, very fortunate, and you just kind of put your head down and keep it moving. All right, one for the weekend next here on the second level.
Wake up call. You ever had a buddy that dated a lot and then was like, this is the girl, and you're like, no, it isn't. This is going to fall apart. I'm waiting for the day you call me to tell me you're done with her. That's Atlanta. No Falcon fan goes, this is it. This is the one. They're like, nah, this is going to end up terrible. I don't care. What are we up? 19, 16? It doesn't matter. We're good. It's going to end badly.
The only difference is this is your buddy who's been engaged 3 times to 3 different women.
Exactly. Gone registered at the store, right? Picked out a venue, talked to maybe getting a singer and a photographer, and then canceling the wedding. That's a Falcon. You can
hang it on a tree and it lights up.
Getting right up to wedding time, and then, this isn't going to work out for us. I'm sorry.
I wanted to hang
sorry you paid money to come and rent a tux or show up to and bought us
like
gift for
a
not
it's like
getting
a
hitched.
mummy
That's the
that
Falcons.
hangs from its
That's
feet.
right. That's the Falcons, you pathetic football team.
Wake up call with Tony B and Ron
I'll put it
Colbert.
up in the
Weekday
front by
mornings
the-
from 7
by
to
the
9
light.
Eastern.
Garbage.
Jake Asman Show.
Many times
You
in my
can't
life,
throw that
I had
out.
to share a hotel room with somebody else. My plan of selecting which bed depends on proximity to the air conditioning vent and proximity to the most outlets. You know, I have a lot of things that need to be charged. I need to plug in my fan. I need to charge my phone. I have
Oh,
an
you
Apple
think
Watch. I have a
the neighbors hate
phone
us that
charger
much?
Case. I need outlets galore, and a lot of
What
it
are you doing?
depends on where the bed is located in the hotel room.
The
What
Jake
time are you
Asman
done?
Show. Weekday mornings from 9 to
Oh, you
11
did?
Eastern.
How was it?
Pushing the odds with Matt Peralt.
So, Jose,
Oh,
I got,
good.
I got
I'm
a
gonna
question
take
for
him
you.
when I'm done
If
here.
somebody says, Matt, this is the first
Do you
time
need
I've ever
anything?
seen you, because they're watching the live stream, you're not what I thought you looked like.
Oh, boy.
How do you take that?
I would take it as an insult.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Because that means before they saw you, they thought you were hideous.
I wrote back to the person like, so how am I supposed to take that exactly? You're not what I thought you would look like. And they're trying to cover it by saying, I figured you were older with that voice. What does that mean? They thought I was older than I am.
You don't have an old man voice. I don't buy that.
I'm 43 years old. Like, what? How old am I supposed to sound? Like, I don't sound like I'm a kid. Who has an old voice? Like Mr. Burns? Like, the line was, "Hey Matt, first time I actually see what you look like. Wasn't my visual!" Exclamation point. and then I wrote back, "So how do I take that?" And the person said, "Oh, it's all good. I figured you were a lot older with that voice."
Pushing the odds with Matt Peralt.
Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern.
Coast to coast. Why should some teams be allowed to have fans and other teams can't have any? You talk about a disadvantage. I mean, it's that simple. Plus, who wants to go to a Dolphin game anyway? They suck. They're not going to play Tua. They're going to suck anyway, like they always do. So who wants to go to a Dolphin game? Joe Ranieri knows they suck too. I wouldn't bet on him if it hit me in the head.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
All right, real quick, before we hit one for the weekend, a couple of tweets. Paul Hudrick, who covers the Sixers here in Philadelphia, at Paul Hudrick, says, I'm the biggest Ghostbusters fan there is, and he votes no. Spaceballs, Little Giants, and My Blue Heaven.
There it is.
Underrated big bully. You can't, first off, Paul's correct on Ghostbusters, meaning you can't claim that as a Rick Moranis movie.
Yeah, we have it. We figured it out. It's easily he's the sixth man.
Yes, but now, okay, so another one. JLB from DVM, pardon me, Jonathan Brown, who's a tech and producer at Fox 29 here locally. Spaceballs, My Blue Heaven, and Little Shop of Horrors. I think that actually is the best list that's going to appease the largest.
Masses.
Yes.
So we're ignoring Strange Brew, though.
I think we are. I really do. I don't know, man. Now Jeff Rickard at Rickard on Sports at 105.7, the 107.5, pardon me, the Fan in Indy. He elevated it. Key master of Gozer. Now we're getting people from all over the industry disagreeing. All right, I'm sorry. What do you have here? Otherwise, this Rick Moranis is going to take over for one for the weekend.
No, this is the one for the weekend.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
What I had,
We need three. It's like I told you, this is the fantasy thing where we have 4 wide receivers and only 3 slots. One of them has to go.
Yeah, it's not Ghostbusters. I'm sorry.
No, Ghostbusters is out. But unfortunately, what we have Spaceballs, Little Shop, Strange Brew, and
5. Honestly,
My Blue Heaven.
So that's 4, right? We're not including Little Giants, even though
Correct. Little Giants is out.
Audience probably grew up on Little Giants.
Yeah, Little Giants
And
is
we're
out.
not including Strange Brew.
Well, that
No,
would
you
be the
said Strange
4th.
Brew.
Strange. Now, Brett Holcomb at Brett
What was
Holcomb
the
8.
other- there was another one.
Honestly, I think we
How you
had
Shrunk the Kids.
No, we removed that.
We did
Remember?
remove that because that one's for that's the kids in the film and the
Technology,
special effects.
Correct. I mean, we had a couple of people. John Jansen from the Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler here in Philadelphia. coworker of mine locally. Absolutely not to Ghostbusters. Any Rick
Yeah.
Moranis movie list has to include Little Shop of Horrors near the top.
It does.
I'm telling you, I think actually,
Feed me, Seymour.
look, Spaceballs, My Blue Heaven, and Little Shop, I think
I
is
think that's your
Yeah.
go-to fantasy.
took us
It's
2 hours
It's going
to.
to get you the most points this week.
That's exactly right. Make sure you start that and sit Strange Brew. Matt Peralta next. Oh man, unbelievable that we got content out of Rick Moranis like that.
Getting punched in the face, sucker punched in the face.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, does that make us horrible people at the same time?
MotiveMap.com
No.
to see the
No,
latest
no.
auto news. Find out about what's
Just confirming. I'm fine either way, but just wanted to know.
Got it.
check out the hottest.
All right, man. Enjoy yourself. Have a good weekend.
You too, my friend. Thank you, sir. Thanks for all your help.
No
All right, buddy.
worries. Talk to you Monday.
Celebrity